It's your man's IRLnash back in the building. Welcome to the Pokemon Center. Today, last video we got is gonna be. I don't know why I be saying that. I post this shit on different days sometimes. It don't even be the last video. It be the only video I post. But the most controversial Super Bowl halftime shows. Matty Balls, pause. Y'all already know that kid is a genius. One of the great YouTube journalists of the time. Let's tap in, man.
The Super Bowl halftime show is one of the biggest performances in the world, so every year the artists that the NFL picks to do it are highly contentious. Whether it be as recent as the NFL choosing Bad Bunny to perform with a ton of backlash after, or way back in 2004 when Janet Jackson had the infamous Nipplegate incident, there have been a lot of controversial Super Bowl performances over the years. So today we're going to look into the craziest ones, starting off with Kendrick Lamar's 2025 performance. Also, by the way, we're super close to 500K. Real quick, if you
was that shit really that crazy? It kind of was.
Just like subscribe and give me there like for a little Christmas present.
I'm hating.
Appreciate it.
I'm hating. It's all right. My bad.
Kendrick Lamar's halftime show performance was fairly controversial, especially since it was at the tail end of his beef with Drake. But it was controversial for other reasons before he even performed. The September before the Super Bowl, Kendrick was announced as the headliner for the halftime show, and Lil Wayne was pretty upset. First, he posted on his Instagram story, confused, disappointed, angry, but most of all, inspired. We'll never again be in a position or have the GOAT in a position where we are at the mercy of someone else's decision. We will make the decisions. And then he posted this video as well expressing his problems.
I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown.
I blame myself.
Automatically
Look, everybody know my take on it when it happened, and I was very vocal about it. But at the end of the day, for what it was worth, Kendrick definitely deserved it. He definitely deserved to be put in. Lil Wayne, I get people like, well, he can't perform. I think he could have stepped up. I don't know. I just got faith in Wayne. But I also think that at the end of the day, Kendrick Lamar went on a run, bro.
Putting myself in that position like somebody told me that was my position. It made me feel like not getting this opportunity. And when I felt like you guys reminded me that I ain't without y'all.
The main reason is because the Super Bowl was hosted in his hometown of New Orleans. He has also said before that he would kill to play the Super Bowl and things along those lines in many other interviews. This led to fans debating if Wayne even deserved the spot, with a lot of people saying he wasn't a great performer. One fan on Reddit said, anyone who has seen Wayne live knows he puts on mediocre.
Kobe being in the chat right now, he was the one that said that shit.
Effort shows, and that's if he even shows up. Many were reposting some rough moments from his concerts on Twitter as well.
Posse got that first subscriber badge on. Love that shit.
There was even one that was pretty funny, I'll admit, and even Tyler the Creator liked it as well. Regardless, Wayne continued to complain about it, which I think really rubbed fans the wrong way. Like when he gave this speech at Wheezy Fest a couple of months later.
That moment I said to myself, I want to be on stage for the Super Bowl one day in front of my mom. And I worked my ass off to get that fucking position, and it was ripped away from me.
People responded saying things like, you never had it, bro, so how the f is it ripped away? On top of that, fans were also upset with Wayne because Kendrick has been a big Wayne fan for years, very openly throughout his career.
Wayne ain't no new jack to the game, like I said, you know. He influenced a lot of styles and a lot of sounds. And I could say I was influenced by a certain sound and the flow and the cadence, you know, that he brought to the game, which was very unique.
When you become big homie and you see your little homies win, it ain't for you to be like, that should have been me. It's for you to be like, good shit. It's low key, bro. You know, you gotta go where you appreciate it. And Jay-Z don't even like you like that, nigga. It's like, if we being for real.
Being a young boy in the game and listening to him like, yo, okay, you need to learn this and that, you know, and That definitely was
Accolades say he
effective from that
deserved it.
tape.
His
So when
live
Wayne
show
was
say that
acting
it
like that
doesn't.
instead of
Yeah.
being proud of Kendrick,
Yeah, I
it rubbed
agree.
a lot of people the wrong way. Not too long after this, on Kendrick's new track Whacked Out Murals, he said, "Used to bump the Carter 2, I held my rolly chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down." Later on that song, he said, "Won the Super Bowl and Nas the only one congratulate me. All these people agitated, I'm just glad they showing their faces. Quite frankly, plenty artists, but they outdated. Old ass flows trying to convince me that you they favorite." Clearly, Kendrick was not too happy about Wayne's reaction. Wayne actually seemingly responded to this on Twitter, saying, "Man, WTF I do. I just be chilling and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep, I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me, love." This tweet was really funny. It was like he was some super evil boss from some anime or something. But I'm honestly surprised that no further beef developed because of this, which is a little disappointing. I think that would have been a cool diss battle. Regardless, though, Wayne said on the Skip Bayless show just a few weeks later that he had no problems with Kendrick.
So he didn't let me know. It ain't like it ain't like he can control it or nothing. And also, I've spoken to him and I wished him all
Hey, bro. Every day,
the best and told him he
this
better-
nigga Wayne turning into Flavor
you
Flav, bro.
better
Every
kill it.
day.
You gotta kill it.
I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down.
Oh,
I don't know
no.
exactly what that means.
Hold up.
If he's
Skip Bayless out here reading lyrics? When this nigga become
Producers and
ChatGPT?
musicians from around the world have
When this
been
nigga become
grinding to create
genius?
the Culture's production suite. You drag it into any DA.
sort of
No.
Nah.
No, he ain't. I don't think he. Nah, he knew he didn't have to do anything. He ain't, there was no explanation that was needed for that. I think I understand. Again, that was my first time hearing it when you just said it.
Okay.
But I understand those words. He, like I said, I think he just mean that he made it there, and his hard work is the reason why he made it there.
It was a little strange that he said he never heard those lyrics, but whatever, it's Lil Wayne. Unfortunately, despite everything seemingly being over with, Wayne still continued to drag it for a bit. At one point, he even said that the NFL f***ed up and that since he's working on the Carter 6, they could have had some music, but instead they got rapping, which is especially ironic now as the Carter 6 is out and many people wouldn't quite call that music. But all of this is before Kendrick even performed. So what was so controversial about his actual performance? Well, this was actually the most watched halftime show in history, in part due to the Kendrick-Drake beef. But I think one of the main reasons the performance was controversial was because of the track list. Obviously, Kendrick had to play Not Like Us because that was the biggest song at the time, but aside from that, he didn't really play his biggest hits, which is typical of an artist at the Super Bowl. Especially since you're performing on a stage with such broad viewership, most people aren't going to even know your biggest songs, so usually it's better to cast a wide net. Not everyone's going to know all your deep cuts. Kendrick mostly just played new songs off of his album GNX that had just come out, and even though that's a good album in my opinion, I feel like that sound and that West Coast style he went for was a little bit more niche down. Kendrick did play a few hits, but not too many. Rolling Stone said, "Doing almost all new songs at the Super Bowl proved challenging to some."
Let's be real about something. What songs do Kendrick got at that point? Did Kendrick have that a whole, like that big of a stadium worth of people who aren't there just to see Kendrick Lamar are gonna want to listen to? Like, yeah, you could do Humble, you can do shit like that, of course, but shit, what you got, 15, 20 minutes that you got to perform up there? Like, that nigga literally made that CD so that he could have some anthems that he could do during the Super Bowl, bro. And I'm not even mad about that shit, to be real with you. I actually kind of fuck with the GNX album. It's just like 4 songs on there that's like really bad. Like, the other songs on there are like really good, but it's like 4 tracks on there that's just like really, really bad.
Aside from the songs he performed, there was also some subtle political messages from Kendrick during the show that upset a lot of conservatives, which isn't really anything new, especially with rap, but the backlash was definitely noticeable. Another group that wasn't a fan of this was Drake fans, with some claiming that Drake became the show's main character. And Rolling Stone said, "I can't think of another time in history that any artist has made an entire Super Bowl halftime show about an artist who has never done the Super Bowl halftime show." Overall, while the concert undeniably did numbers, the entire thing was shrouded in controversy from start to finish. And while Kendrick's was controversial, Bad Bunny's halftime show is already more controversial than Kendrick's, and he hasn't even performed yet. Now, I could never afford to go to the Super Bowl. Those ticket prices are crazy. But if I could, let's continue. Bad Bunny is a massive artist who's recently been compared to the likes of Latin America's Drake, and some go as far to say he's even bigger than Drake already. This brings us to the focal point of what makes Bad Bunny being announced for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show so controversial. In September of 2025, they announced that Bad Bunny, a Puerto...
I just don't know no Bad Bunny songs, like, personally. And I get, hey, go off. I'm not really tripping. I understand why they got Bad Bunny. I just don't know I don't know none of his music.
Singer and rapper was set to perform the halftime show. So like I said, he hasn't actually performed yet, but even
Bad
just the
Bunny
announcement was more controversial than half of the performances on this list. As I mentioned, he has a ton of accolades and is super successful, so it should make sense for him to be chosen, right? Despite the fact he doesn't make music in English, I think it's fair to say you can enjoy a song even if you don't understand the lyrics. For example, the mega viral song Despacito, which took the world by storm in 2017. As part of the announcement, Bad Bunny said, "What I'm feeling goes beyond myself. It's for those who came before me and ran countless yards so I could come in and score a touchdown. This is for my people, my culture, and our history." Which again doesn't seem so problematic since he's proud to be representing his culture as a trailblazer in his position. But this is where things get political. According to a poll, the Washington Post reported that 74% of Democrats approve of the NFL's pick of Bad Bunny, while 10% disapprove. And among Republicans, the results are nearly a mere opposite. 63% wish the NFL had gone with someone else, while 16% are fine with the NFL's choice. These results could in part be because Bad Bunny performs almost entirely in Spanish, and he's been a loud and frequent critic of the Trump administration. In a tour announced by Bad Bunny, he has no planned stops in the continental US. In interviews, he's explained the choice, saying that the decision was due to fears that his fans could be targeted by Trump's mass deportation push. Along with this, Bad Bunny has also been known for his LGBTQ+ advocacy. And on top of these kind of situations, other public moments have upset some people as well. Like at a Yankee game when he and some friends didn't stand during the performance of God Bless America. Even President Trump chimed in when asked about the halftime show decision.
I never heard of him. I don't know who he is.
He Puerto Rican. Damn. Okay. Damn.
I don't know why they're doing it.
I was gonna say he's not American though.
But
he Puerto Rican.
Promoter that they hired to pick up entertainment. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's a tough one.
While we're at it, I'd like them to change the kickoff rule.
And other politicians mirrored this sentiment as well, claiming to not know Bad Bunny and agreeing it was a bad decision. And this is when things ramped up a little bit. Corey Lewandowski, a senior advisor at the Department of Homeland Security, claimed that ICE agents will be present at Bad Bunny's halftime show.
Benny, there is nowhere that you can provide safe haven to people who are in this country illegally, not the Super Bowl and nowhere else. We will find you, we will apprehend you, we will put you in a detention facility, and we...
Why is that what you want to do so bad, bro? I understand the logic. I don't understand the sentiments. I understand why people are like, well, illegal immigration. Yeah, I can understand that point. I don't understand the sentiments that niggas got around the shit. We are going to make sure that you leave and never come back again. Like, whoa, what the fuck is going on, bro? When the fuck did we become the arbiters of land? I'm sorry, I guess I just don't look as high and mighty. I love being American, bro. I love the fact I was born here. It's my country. I'm a part of this country. I love being a part of this country. But nigga, the flaws is the flaws. The cracks in the pavement is right there and you can see them. And I don't know who the fuck gave us the chance or the option to be the arbiters of land. we only been here for like 200 years, 300 years. Like, what the fuck we be talking about, bro? This guy, he just looked like one of them dudes you got to worry about. He got on a suit with no tie.
Support you. So know that that is a very real situation under this administration, which is completely contrary to how it used to be.
And again, the claim that ICE would be in attendance was echoed by other Homeland Security officials following the statement. However, if this will actually happen is still up in the air. While many
loudness has changed over the decades. These days, the music we make hits harder, the low end is bigger.
Adversaries of Bad Bunny claim an American should be headlining. Proponents continue to point out that Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican, which is in fact part of America. And Bad Bunny even addressed all the uproar in his SNL monologue, saying how he is still happy to be performing and that he believes most people are as well, especially emphasizing how proud he is to represent his Latin culture. At the end, he even cracked a joke acknowledging the whole ordeal. When asked why the NFL chose Bad Bunny during a press conference, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell answered, "He's one of the leading and most popular entertainers in the world. That's what we try to achieve. It's an important stage for us. It's an important element to the entertainment value. It's carefully thought through. He also added that despite the backlash, he has no plans of canceling the performance since the move was made to attract younger audiences. He also pointed out that every time they've ever selected an artist, there's never been an incident where there was zero criticism. And it makes sense that they're picking someone like Bad Bunny, who is arguably bigger than just a US artist. He's more of like a worldwide artist. And when the NFL is trying to compete with organizations like FIFA, it definitely makes sense. Jay-Z, who also plays a role in picking the halftime show artist, said, "Why are people hating on him? They love him. Don't let him fool you." Funnily enough, all of the backlash prompted conservative groups like Turning Point USA to host their own All-American halftime show. But as of now, there's no information about the performance or how to watch it. There's also been a bunch of rumors that the NFL is canceling Bad Bunny for the halftime show, along with other rumors that Coca-Cola is pulling their sponsorship, which is incorrect since Coke hasn't advertised with the show since 2020. While petitions to replace Bad Bunny with names like George Strait have over hundreds of thousands of signatures, it doesn't really mean much. So until the show actually happens or there's any other updates, we'll just have to.
Nigga, I know less George Strait songs than I know Bad Bunny songs, bro.
What happens, but I'm sure there will be quite a bit of backlash no matter what he does. And as controversial as this one may seem, Janet Jackson's Super Bowl performance is arguably the most controversial one of all time. Janet Jackson is a very successful singer and actress, and of course, she's also Michael Jackson's sister. Between her albums and movies, she's done a lot of work in the industry, which gave her the opportunity to perform at the Super Bowl. Before the Super Bowl, she had been touring with NSYNC. Justin Timberlake, one of the members, had attended her shows as a kid, which led to her being a major influence on him. After the tour, they became good friends. So when the Super Bowl halftime show finally came and she played a few songs, Justin Timberlake came out as a surprise guest to duet his song Rock Your Body. When Justin Timberlake reached the final line, which ironically was "Bet'll Have You Naked" by the end of the song,
taking our jobs is crazy, bro.
Jackson's costume. When he did this, he exposed her.
And I know you mean that for real too.
Although she did have one of those nipple cover things on, but at first people were confused and not sure if the move was on purpose, especially because of the nipple cover and the final line of the song. Plus, Janet herself even looked shocked. But soon after, it would be decided that the incident was not intended and was a wardrobe malfunction.
I feel like they lying about that. I feel like Justin and them let her take the fall for everything, but I feel like they meant to do that shit, bro. There's no way that you didn't mean to do that shit. There's no way that that happened like that, bro. And that one piece of clothing came off, bro. Like, come on. Come on. Let's be adults here. Let's be adults here.
Show, all the networks started apologizing and saying they had no idea this was a part of the show. MTV's CEO tried to claim that it was a stunt planned by Jackson, and then later said they did not intend for nudity to occur, but regardless, the damage was done. The NFL commissioner and the FCC chairman publicly ridiculed Janet. One of her representatives tried to explain how Justin Timberlake was pulling on something else and that caused the malfunction, and then CBS forced her to release a public apology in which she explained the context and attempted to rectify the mistake.
My decision to change the Super Bowl performance was actually made after the final rehearsal. MTV, CBS.
The pressure they used to be able to put on people back in the day was crazy. That's one thing, cause she to this day be like, nah, I got hold. They played me. They played in my face. They made me do a bunch of shit that I never should have did, but I just went along with it because I just wanted to make everything cool. The amount of pressure they could put on people back then is just crazy, bro.
The NFL had no knowledge of this whatsoever, and unfortunately, the whole thing went wrong.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
I am really sorry.
But
if I offended anyone,
like,
that was truly not my intention.
In a later interview, Jackson said she felt humiliated that tens of millions of people saw her exposed, but she felt the outrage was unjustified. Nowadays, to our generation, this may seem way too crazy, like it was just a boob. It wasn't even, you didn't even see the nipple. Like, there's way worse stuff on TV all the time and in ads. But back in 2004, this was the end of the world. Eventually, Janet said, "It's hard to believe that there's a war and famine going on in the world, and yet people made such a big deal about a breast. People said it was done intentionally to sell records."
Nowadays, shit, you see titties on Instagram, honestly.
You know what? I've never pulled a stunt. Why would you do that and have your album?
Shit, I saw sexy red titties on Instagram. She posted it.
Need to run Windows on your Mac?
No.
Parallels Desktop makes it simple to
I
integrate.
don't need to do none of that.
It doesn't make sense. Many industry professionals came out in support of her claims, agreeing that something
That's
bigger was in the
commercial.
works. The Rolling Stone said, for the FCC, Nipplegate provided an opportunity to restore order
Shit
and flex
cracked
whatever power
down.
they had
Yeah.
left. Faced with lax broadcast standards for cable.
Shit had cracked down after that shit happened. For real though. For a couple years, shit was not. Niggas was not for no
satellite
games.
radio, as well as the absolute lawlessness of the internet, the FCC becomes hell-bent on preserving common decency and the family-friendly realm of network television. While the aftermath of Nipplegate starts to fade, the FCC will continue to carry its
Imagine
torch
if it
for
on
the
a
next
4K
half
on
decade.
an 80
After the
inch.
incident, like I said,
Hey,
the
bro.
public reaction
I'm
was
saying,
bad.
imagine if you could have screenshotted that shit. Like, imagine if you was there in person. Imagine if you went to the Super Bowl and you paid for $1,000 for some seats. You was sitting in a nosebleed and a nigga at the crib got to see the titty better than you did. Imagine if.
The FCC got over 500,000 complaints. This even prompted them to conduct an investigation that was discussed on the Senate floor, most of which weren't even about Nipplegate, but instead just basic aspects of the show like music choice. At one point, a Tennessee banker filed a class action lawsuit against Janet and Justin Timberlake on behalf of all American citizens who watched the outrageous conduct. Eventually, though, it was dropped. More stupid lawsuits came up like this one, but again, they were all dropped or denied. One advertiser, America Online, which sponsored the halftime show, demanded a $7.5 million refund. Because of Justin's line right before the incident, the FCC was able to ignore
I'ma have you
context of the
naked
wardrobe
by the end of this
malfunction and claim
song.
that the accident was done on purpose.
Bro,
to
it
shock
was
people.
done
The
on
FCC
purpose.
eventually fined
Like, come
Viacom
on, bro.
$28,000.
Like, literally, he say, I'ma have you naked by the end of this song. After that part, he start beatboxing, bro. In the regular song, he start boom, 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 boom. That's what that nigga started doing. He don't pull no titties out. Come on. It's common.
For all 20 of the CBS-owned stations, which totaled to around 500,000 and was the largest fine ever given at this time. During all of this, Janet got a lot of backlash and just a little bit of support. Viacom
fucked her
CEO
career up.
blacklisted anything Janet Jackson on all of their networks, and she was barred from even attending and uninvited to appear at the Grammys. Eventually, the Grammys allowed her to come back, but her, Justin, and numerous other celebrities were required to apologize and comment on the incident. All of this overshadowed the release of her 8th studio album, Demita Joe, but regardless, it pushed through and still went platinum.
And
got a Grammy nomination.
Justin's career, just like that. Just like that. That nigga went like that, bro. You ever seen the cartoons when they was just talking about stocks randomly and it just had just like that?
People nowadays are pretty level-headed and think her treatment in this situation was unfair, especially because Justin was the one who pulled the thing. It wasn't even her fault. Justin, who received little to no ridicule, said, "I wish I had supported Janet more. I am not sorry I apologized, but I wish I had been there more for Janet." This incident made Janet Jackson the most searched term, event, and image in internet history, as well as the most famous Super Bowl performance of all time.
Niggas went on the computer the next day and started trying to jack their dick off to Janet Jackson titty, bro. That shit crazy. Niggas is gross, bro. Niggas is fucking sick.
A decade later, former FCC chairman Michael Powell, who at the time of the incident held his position, admitted that Jackson was treated unfairly. He said, "I think we've been removed from this long enough for me to tell you that I had to put my best." Chairman Michael Powell.
That's a black dude too, bro. Come on, man. Damn. Michael Powell, he looked like Clinton Powell. You supposed to help your people.
Powell, who at the time of the incident held his position, admitted that Jackson was treated unfairly. He said, "I think we've been removed from this long enough for me to tell you that I had to put my best version of outrage on that I could put on. Look, I think it was dumb to happen, and they knew the rules and were flirting with them, and my job is to enforce the rules. But, you know, really, is this what we're gonna do?" He also brought up the issue of Justin Timberlake facing no punishment, saying, "I personally thought that was really unfair. It all turned..."
Look. Why, whoever is writing this, why is they writing this shit like a comic book, nigga? Like, what the fuck, bro? They writing this bitch like it's a novel. Like, damn.
To being about her. In reality, if you slow the thing down, it's just in ripping off her breastplate. And MIA had a similar amount of backlash for a similarly tame occurrence. On February 5th, 2012, nearly 167 million TV viewers tuned into the Super Bowl to watch a matchup between the New York Giants and the New England Patriots.
Party Rock
and while
niggas?
football again was the main event,
MIA.
MIA's appearance at the halftime show stirred up
looking
quite a
at
bit
me.
of controversy, specifically when she extended her middle finger during a performance of Give Me All Your Lovin' while mouthing, I don't give a shit. While this seems extremely brief and not that big of a deal, the backlash again was crazy. The 2012
If you're a producer who hates AI, this plugin might change your mind. This is Reimagine and Co-Producer. You can take any
2012 Super Bowl halftime show was headlined by Madonna and featured a bunch of guests like LMFAO, CeeLo Green, Nicki Minaj, and MIA. She's most known for her songs Paper Planes and Bad Girls, which were both very popular at the time, which of course is the reason she was invited to perform. While MIA has been known to participate in activism and protests, this was pretty unexpected and was seen on one of music's greatest stages. 1 month after the performance, the league took legal action against her. The NFL demanded $1.5 million from her for allegedly breaching her performance contract and its goodwill and reputation. As a result, a multi-year legal battle followed, with the NFL continuing their push to have her deemed liable for her actions. And with this
$1.5 million is crazy.
MIA used her platform to spread messages of activism.
The NFL won't even find a nigga, 1.5 million who beat his wife. And you trying to find her a 1.5 million for throwing up the middle finger, bro? Something that I see her niggas say it's crazy, way crazier shit every Sunday. I literally saw that nigga Tom Izzo scream at a dude, say, "Fuck are you doing?" That's crazy. 1.5 million is crazy, bro. I get like maybe 100,000, wow, or just being like, I just want the apology for real. That's it. But
point out how crazy it was for the NFL to go after her like this. Ironically, it wasn't the networks or the FCC that went for it, but the league themselves.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
Their legal papers specifically described what was an offensive gesture in flagrant disregard for the values that form the cornerstone of the NFL.
That is comical. That is comical, bro. You talk about the same league that hid CTE away from the players for decades. That league. You talking about the same fucking league. Bro, get out of here. Get out of here, G. Get out of here. Same niggas that didn't want Colin Kaepernick to take a knee. These the niggas we talking about. The Shield. The No Fun League. Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all let that kicker in New York beat his wife like 3 different times, and y'all knew that nigga was doing that shit. There have been talks between the New York staff and the actual NFL that got leaked. This nigga was still playing football, man. Come on. How the fuck y'all gonna say because a bitch... I'm sorry, I ain't trying to call her a bitch, but damn, man, simple as that. Because a bitch threw up in the middle finger, you trying to... Like, bro, I see crazier. I seen the nigga get his leg broke 3 weeks in a row. Like... I'll see y'all niggas keep replaying a nigga get his whole career ended in front of me, but you mad at me? You mad at a motherfucker for throwing up the middle finger?
And in the Super Bowl, MIA and her team said in
crazy,
response,
bro.
Of course the NFL's claimed reputation for wholesomeness is hilarious. In light of the weekly felonies committed by its stars, the bounties placed by coaches on opposing players, the homophobic and racist comments uttered by its players, the complete disregard for the health of players and premature deaths that have resulted from the same, and the raping of public entities ready to sacrifice public funds to attract teams. In response, the NFL only said that the money received...
I said it, they cleaned it up for me, shit, at that point. MIA's baby daddy took her child away from her. Hey, sometimes shit
from MIA would be donated.
Sometimes these chicks ain't good.
Believe that a major reason.
Sometimes women ain't good parents. Shit, I'm gonna be real with you.
NFL was so sensitive about this.
That don't mean the NFL need to try to find you $1.5 million. That just means you ain't a good mom.
Because of the backlash they had during the Janet Jackson incident. The headlines stopped popping up, but over the course of 3 years, the NFL pursued money from her. At one point, they even raised their demands from $1 million to 16 million.
All right.
Extra 50.
Come on now. These niggas is tripping. These niggas tripping.
coming from the value of public exposure she received
16.
by appearing for an approximately 2-minute segment. When the news of this broke, MIA even jokingly tweeted at Madonna asking if she could borrow 16 mil. After all the virality, I think the NFL was like, all right, we're hurting our image too much, and they eventually settled all this out of court. And while they started this on a witch hunt to try to make their image good and preserve it, if anything, I think it made it look worse. And while MIA's performance was controversial because of a simple gesture, Beyonce went a little more out of her way. In 2016 at the Super Bowl halftime show, Coldplay performed alongside special guests Beyonce and Bruno Mars. Now, this wasn't Beyonce's first time, but it is by far the most controversial, especially since her part of the performance pretty much stole the show. Just one day before the Super Bowl, she released a previously unannounced single called Formation, with a very politically charged music video. And on the day of the Super Bowl, she performed this song. As part of this, she announced a 40-date world tour. But it wasn't the tour that captured headlines. Instead, it was the celebrated black figures of the past.
So you think you know Wix, but do you really? First up, we've got Shake Video.
Past and recent black history that she referenced during her show. In her song Formation, she refers to the Black Lives Matter movement, details what it's like to be black in the United States in 2016, and sings lines that some deemed controversial. Mike.com described the project as one of the most political music videos in recent memory. In the music video, Beyonce is seen lying on top of a New Orleans...
This ain't a... Hey, This Is America ain't came out at that point. That's why. Because shit. Or did it? See, now my wires getting crossed. I know the past history way better than I know the newer history.
That sinks into water. A clear reference to Hurricane Katrina, which ravaged many black communities in 2005. So when she performed this song at the Super Bowl, you can imagine some people took issue, especially because of how political it was. Many specifically pointed to her backup dancers, which wore berets of the Black Panther Party. At one point during her performance, Beyonce and her backup dancers raised a fist into the air, mimicking the Black Panther salute. And this reference didn't go unnoticed. Also, during her part, Beyonce and her backup dancers took many different formations, one of which noticeably was an X, which many thought was referring to Malcolm X. And while it wasn't necessarily a part of the performance, photos later circulated of Beyonce's backup dancers holding a sign that read Justice
2018.
Woods, a black man who was killed by the police. Following the show, a ton of backlash erupted.
This Is America came out 2 years after this.
Didn't take issue with the performance, since unless you were really paying attention, you would have missed the references. But because of how political it was, it became a heavy topic of conversation. Fans of Beyonce began protesting in support of her at the NFL league headquarters, and on the other side, a lot of police stations and law enforcement held their own protests in the form of boycotts. In a statement posted on the group's website, Tampa Police Benevolent Association President Vincent Garicano said his group's officers were disgusted with the Super Bowl show and Beyonce's new music video. And the Nashville Fraternal Order of Police asked its members to not voluntarily work the concert there, saying, if we volunteer to work her event, we're basically saying you can say or do anything you want when it comes to police officers, and we're just going to sit and take it. At one point, an officer in Tennessee said shots were fired outside of his home, claiming that Beyonce's video may have provoked the incident. Looking back, though, this seems like another one of those controversies that's just blown out of proportion, with one commenter saying a few years after the show, I'm still confused on how this performance was controversial. I swear people just want to be offended nowadays. And clearly it wasn't that big of a deal, since Beyonce's following tour sold without issue. Even SNL made a...
I'm saying it was political. It wasn't even that it's controversial. It's just that it had political things that was going on, and it's just like, bro, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. When you want to make a statement, sometimes people gonna hear you. And then your people gonna hear you, but other people gonna hear you too. And that's the thing about making a statement. So
about the public's reaction to her song
comes
called
with
The Day Beyonce Turned Black.
I think Beyonce is black.
Regardless, Beyonce put in a lot of work to make her performance special, whereas the Red Hot Chili Peppers sort of did the opposite. In 2014, the Red Hot Chili Peppers performed alongside Bruno Mars during the Super Bowl halftime show, notably playing their hit song Give It Away.
I did not like...
is a few fans noticed they weren't...
I didn't like that Bruno Mars. I like the other Bruno Mars. I didn't like that Bruno Mars. That clean cut, clean shaven Bruno Mars. I like this bitch been... Nah, I like that Bruno Mars. He cold. That nigga
playing the
cold.
songs at all. Performing during the Super Bowl halftime show is one of the most prestigious gigs you can get, and Red Hot Chili Peppers no doubt jumped at the chance to join Bruno Mars on stage. And while it seems like they were singing live, the same could not be said about their instruments. Bassist Flea and guitarist Josh Klinghoffer were seen strumming on their electric instruments, although neither was connected to a cable or a wireless pad. Joining vocalist Anthony Kiedis and drummer Chad Smith on stage, the group performed Give It Away along with Bruno. While watching the performance, blues artist Joe Bonamassa said, "Flea, I mean, we all know, but for God's sakes, at least try to humor the children." And he wasn't the only musician pointing this out. Living Color guitarist Vernon Reed wrote on Twitter, "That guitar is plugged into nothing," along with a bunch of other fans who noticed that the band wasn't actually playing their songs live like it was meant to be. In response, the band's bassist Flea defended not playing live during their halftime show, saying that they were told a backing track would be pre-recorded when they agreed to do the show. And I understand the NFL stance on this, given they only have a few minutes to set up.
No, real spill, bro. I don't get how the people are upset at them because the NFL is not going to allow you to play that shit live. Even if you plug it in, so it's like you going to make it sound worse. So you might as well just let that shit play out the speakers and just vibe out. Like I can kind of feel that shit, to be real with you.
There are a zillion things that could go wrong and ruin the sound for folks watching in the stadium and the TV viewers. He also added that they chose not to even plug the instruments in because we thought it would be better.
I agree.
Well,
I agree.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers are very against miming live music. Due to the halftime show being a massive opportunity, it was hard to turn down. Flea continued by saying, "When this Super Bowl gig concept came up, there was a lot of confusion amongst us as whether or not we should do it, but we eventually decided it was a surreal, like once-in-a-lifetime crazy thing to do, and we would just have fun and do it." He closed his statement by saying, "I am grateful to the NFL for having us, and I am grateful to Bruno, who is a super talented young man, for inviting us to be a part of his gig. I would do it all the same way again. We as a band aspire to grow as musicians and songwriters, and to continue to play our guts out live on stage for anyone who wants to get their brains blown out." So while this case still was very controversial, it was in a bit of a different way, especially since the whole point of playing the halftime show live is that you're playing the music live. And one thing you may have noticed about the Super Bowl is that over the years, it's been less and less bands popping up to perform, with more and more solo artists headlining. And if you want to know why bands have been disappearing in the mainstream over the last few decades, make sure to click the video that's on screen right now.
That nigga know how to promote his next video, I tell you that. Hey, shout out Matty Balls. Great young man. He always putting in some good work. You already know what it is. Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. Oh. No, my hair is just not braided.